Akasamaraja Shatarasa Marayape 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 Akasamaraja Shatarasamaraya Pe 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 Om Madra Sato Samaya Manopalaya Madra Sato Tenoma Teta Teta Namaya Supokaya Namaya Anurata Namaya Mahasamaya Sato Om Madra Sato Samaya Anurata Namaya Mahasamaya Sato Om Madra Sato Samaya Supokaya Namaya Anurata So all deity yoga practices have these two stages that are known as the creation stage or the generation stage and the completion stage. So in terms of the creation stage and the completion stage, then there is a gradual procedure. And so if you zoom back even further, all deity sadhanas, sadhanas are methods of accomplishment. In Tibetan is drup tup. Drup is accomplishment, and tup is the method. So it's the method to accomplish. The method to accomplish the deity. The deity to be accomplished for this practice is the wisdom dakini, Simhamukha. So all sadhanas have the preliminaries, which is the bodhicitta, refuge, and so on and so forth. Then there is the main part, and then there is the dedication for the conclusion. The main part is where the creation stage and the completion stages are. Those constitute the main part. So as I said then, in terms of the main part having these two stages, then they are sequential. You begin with creation, then you end with completion. But throughout practicing the creation and completion stages, whichever stage that you are at, the two underlying principles for these two stages, which is appearances and emptiness, these two should always be there. In the creation stage, the appearances aspect is foregrounded and the emptiness aspect is in the background. In the completion stage, the emptiness aspect is in the foreground and the appearance aspect is in the background. So these two always have to be present. And these two then are also, in terms of the two bodhicittas that we talked about yesterday, the appearance aspect is relative bodhicitta, the emptiness aspect is ultimate bodhicitta. So these two aspects have always got to be integrated together. Even though on the level of practice and temporal time, we do live in temporal time, right? So you in the temporal sphere, you have this and then this and then this. So you have the creation stage and the completion stage. Then, as pointed out yesterday, many short deity sadhanas, such as this one, don't give you explicitly the completion stage practices. So often the completion stage is done only briefly. Now I know some of us might even be kind of, depending on what you like, some of us are like, oh, well, there's no completion stage, it's a little, seems a little unsatisfying. And then some of us are like, oh, that's boring. I just want the creation stage. Because so much is going on in the creation stage. But one reason why completion stage is not so clearly laid out in many of these sadhana texts is because mostly these short sadhana texts, and with regards to the plethora of deities that you could practice, is chiefly the creation stage that is emphasized. And now, of course, effective practice of creation stage means that even though you are training in pure appearances, the appearance of deity, you cannot forget emptiness. But it's also saying that this emptiness training is not so easy, because until you have a more stable ability in recreating appearances, in giving up fixation and grasping, then whatever emptiness that you think that you are practicing could just be an intellectual kind of emptiness. An emptiness that you're merely imagining in your mind. And so in more detailed teachings, sometime back, a group of us, when we were studying the Gongchik, this very important text in the Dugung Kagyu, there is one section in the commentary, I forgot which Vajra statement it was. It talks about, in the commentary, Dhammakirti, who is also the author of this sadhana, talks about the mistaken emptinesses that people engage with and think that they are cultivating or meditating on emptiness. From there, if you look at that commentary, the discussions that ensue from the commentary, you'll see that this training in the emptiness aspect is not something so easy. But nonetheless, you have to begin somewhere. So some, at least intellectual understanding of this topic of emptiness is helpful and necessary to begin the creation stage. So in the end, you cannot, like draw a line and say, oh, this is appearance, this is emptiness. Only in relation to each other, in contrast to each other, we can speak like this. But understand that they are always together. Because there is no emptiness aside from appearances. Emptiness is always empty of something. So if that something is not there, then the emptiness, there's no point to talk about it. You see. So emptiness is form is emptiness. Heart Sutra teachings a few weekends back. Now it's posted already on the Drigong Dhammakirti YouTube channel. If you look for that, it's there. So if you have time, if you leisurely listen to parts of that and get some taste of this emptiness and form, the relationship between emptiness and form, the relationship between emptiness and appearances. So emptiness and appearances, emptiness is always emptiness of a particular appearance. It's not like emptiness is taught by the Buddha as a separate reality from sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts. Emptiness is the emptiness of sight. Emptiness is the emptiness of sound. Emptiness is the emptiness of smell, and so on and so forth. So the realm of appearances. So right now, our realm of appearances is said to be impure. That means our realm of appearances is based on our karmic imprints. So you and I experience this room here in a particular way. In some ways very similar. You and I experience this room. Or at least more similar than us and a cockroach who is crawling around. Yeah. Then even among us, we have a similar kind of perception or experience of what appears here, but rarely identical. Even just the way I'm looking out at you and the way you're looking out at me, we just go about our lives imagining how I see you is how you see yourself, and how you see me is how I see myself, and we all get it. But in reality, very little of actually getting it is actually occurring. But we have figured out, to live in this pretend world and, be reasonably, functionally okay. Yeah. But, right, all these are based on what we call the impure appearances. And so what makes it impure? So here it's important not to think of purity in theistic terms. Like most religions are theistic, including Buddhism. Many Buddhists have a theistic relationship with the practice. The definition of theistic here is there is a source outside of you that makes decisions, that causes things to happen. So if you operate on that kind of belief, then your practice becomes theistic. There's one source, one power outside of you. Whether this power has a long beard and a white robe and sitting on a big throne, or a more vague sense of a creator of some sort, an all-powerful being, or even if you simply think, oh, it's nature, and nature controls everything. And these are various forms of theism And we are not a theistic tradition. We have lots of gods for sure. But we say we're not theistic. So we have to properly relate to these practices and understand these principles, these underlying principles. So anyway, the question of now kind of these two stages. So mostly we train with appearances first in the deity practices. Then emptiness is in the background, understood, implied. And then in completion stage. Now, there are also explanations whereby the mantra recitation part is a form of completion stage. Sometimes that part is called completion stage with characteristics. Sometimes the mantra recitation part. It all depends on how you are doing your mantra recitation. If you're doing your mantra recitation more in the style of staying focused on the mantra, meditating on the mantra, then it's not quite completion stage with characteristics. But if you're doing the mantra with the visualization of the light circling, and then in some more detailed instructions, the light may come out of the left nostril, go out, do certain things, and circle around and come into the right nostril and go down back to the heart and circle around the syllable. When it involves those types of visualization, then in the language that we would use, we would say, you're now engaging with the movement of energy and using and regulating the movement of energy to affect your mind. If you are doing the mantra in that style, then it does become the completion stage with characteristics. Completion stage without characteristics is when the visualization dissolves. So the outer form of Simhamukha dissolves in, and then the energetic level dissolves. Then it dissolves into the seed syllable hung with the 14 syllables of the mantra. The 14 syllables dissolve into the hung. The blue hung dissolve from bottom up until it completely disappears. Then the mind rests. Then from there, the beginning of shamatha practice. And then as the mind settles into more and more stable shamatha, then the vipassana, the insight aspect starts. And it will include, the vipassana would be things like, where is the deity? Kind of raising this question in your mind. Where is the deity? Where has the deity gone? Where did the deity come from? Then you go through these kind of prompts. And that's the training in completion stage. So then they say, by training the completion stage, you will achieve the ultimate deity. By training in the creation stage, you achieve the relative deity. The relative deity appears for the benefit of others. The ultimate deity appears for your benefit. then these two become non-dual, then one's welfare and the welfare of others becomes inseparable. Now when we relate to the relative aspect of the deity, that's where the particular characteristics of this or that deity is highlighted. So in the case of the wisdom Dakini Simhamukha, her wrath aspect, her wrathfulness, is definitely an aspect that is very clear about her. And the swiftness of her activity is another aspect that is emphasized. So often in Tibetan, Himalayan contexts, cultures, people turn to Simhamukha, especially when they feel that they are under some kind of attack, psychic, spirit attacks. So lay people especially, would run to the lamas and say, I think, someone is after me, someone has cast a spell on me, and so on and so forth. So then the Lama might say, I will do this for you, or you should do this yourself. So there are various other activity-oriented rituals of Simhamukha, especially in the Nyingma termas. The Barilotsava's tradition, there is some further kind of development and elaborations on these activities, but not as prolific as Nyingma ritual activities, because termas keep turning up. Guru Rinpoche is busy, was busy, is busy. But generally, then this type of ritual, that type of ritual. Many years ago, I translated from English to Chinese, not Tibetan, for a Rinpoche, one of our Rinpoches, a ritual that was done in Malaysia. It's just kind of fascinating ritual. I've never seen anyone doing it again. And at that time, I didn't know enough to really say, what is the text, But I don't know, I digress again. But it involves different deities, but the purpose of that is to solve some problems related to sorcery, as what we would call black magic. This is in Malaysia, in an area where people believe very strongly, and I grew up in that context, and I have seen, these sorts of things. Not that I don't believe them, but I just like, I've seen, enough to say, no, it's not just simply an overactive psychology, if you ask me, but can I scientifically prove to you that something is going on? I don't think I can either, but something is going on, lots of things like this. So I grew up within that cultural milieu where people... So anyway, particularly this area, it's on the border of Malaysia and Thailand. And so the Thais are big into magic as well. So anyway, this Rinpoche was asked to do a ritual to break some spell that some people believe that some of their relatives have, put on them. And it's always relatives, It's not random strangers. It's always relatives. And this is the fault of the people who have died, I would say, because the people who have died did not distribute their wealth the right way, and so then the relatives start feuding, right? It's always that. Anyway, this ritual, I remember parts of it. There's one part where everybody, or the person with that problem, they would take like a string to basically tie you up in a way that is in a fetal position like this. And then the Lama at some point comes with a pair of scissors to cut the string. And then that string is mixed together with thorny branches, dry, thorny, preferably poisonous branches, and burnt with that string. So then when the ritual master is cutting, you have to think of him as a wrathful deity. Maybe Simhamukha comes and cut. And then there's a little tub where you burn the thorny branches and create a little fire, and the person is to jump over the fire. Yeah, so there's that. Then there's some kind of like mini empowerment given of white umbrella, and then like some other rituals I forgot. And then the ashes of that burnt stuff is to be mixed with clay and made into tatas, and to be left in a cemetery. Then it's just like a whole night of like calisthenics and so things like that, right? I think in using a broader term to describe that, this is therapy. Right? This is ritual therapy that works for the people who, whose world operates on those terms. And this is the appearances that we're talking about. These are the appearances that we're talking about. Whereas in the same world, there are highly advanced yogis, meditators, who would say, none of this is real. But it's not the same as us, or not us, or like, someone, a secularist, laughing at religion and say it is not real. It's not the same kind of statement. Yeah? A secular materialist would say, this is not real, this is all just made up, you foolish people. Right? And so he or she says that. Then a yogi will say the same thing, this is not real. But they're making two different statements, The yogi is not real, doesn't mean the yogi, under certain circumstance, may not engage in that to help someone. The point is to help someone. So then these methods become necessary to help someone. So here, I don't know, if you feel that there's some sort of harm and someone, that you suspect is actually doing something to try to harm you, you can practice Simhamukha, but you need to remember too karmic causality. That I am now in this situation, it has to do with my karma. So part of doing this practice is to say, I'm doing this to clear my negative karma. So like we talked about yesterday, like don't do this with a target in mind. That's when it turns into sorcery. You can do this with a situation in mind. Yeah? And say, may that situation be destroyed. May that situation be transformed. May the situation be turned around. Now you might then, do this practice, and then in that situation, the person or the persons entangled in the situation that you consider to be the source of harm, even now you understand actually we are all, right, in cahoots in bringing this harmful situation. My negative karma in the past, yeah. But then if something happens to that person, right? If something happens to that person negatively, right? Don't forget to pray for them. You know, it's not that you are harming them with your practice, because that person or persons, they have their karma too. Yeah? And what the Simhamukha practice may have done is to speed up the ripening of good and bad karma. Your side, you should not direct your anger towards any persons. You can direct this practice towards conditions and situations. But if, the best kind of like solving of the situation is these enemies turn into friends. Right? And sometimes that happens. And in fact, if you do this practice, you should hope. If hope should be in the picture, it's like, may this situation be destroyed, incinerated by us becoming friends, reconciling. But if that doesn't happen, that's because the karma is not there to happen, not enough karma for that to happen, and something else happens. And something else happens may be the other person, you can see, bad things are happening to them. But you should not think, ha! Yeesh. Then becomes an obstacle. So Kyopa Jigden Sumgan, the founder of Drikung Kagyu, in his biography, it says, at a fairly young age, he gained a reputation for being very effective in his ritual expertise in intervening for other people. Particularly, actually, healings. Apparently, he gained a local kind of reputation for the power to heal. And this is before he met his root guru. He was already training. His teacher was his uncle and his father. And both of them were experts in these wrathful deities. His father's focus was on Yamantaka. And then when his father died, then his uncle trained him. His uncle was a master in Vajakilaya. So through these practices, he was able to heal other people. And healing often is in this understood in the world where illness is caused by malevolent forces. Yeah, the way we might now think about viruses and bacteria. Yeah. So the role of those wrathful deities in part has that kind of mundane relative significance along those lines. But after a while, he realized that his reputation for being a healer, right, is starting to become a problem. But then he started to feel like he is not really practicing the Dharma for the main reason, meaning the two bodhicittas. Even superficially, it looks like he's helping people. But with his own motivation, with his own kind of inner mind, he could tell, this is bad. So he ran away. He ran away, he went into retreat in a mosque. He was like, no. Those powers are actually dangerous distractions. Getting famous for having the power to heal. It's like, no, I didn't do this to become a doctor. It's for the sake of all mother sentient beings becoming Buddhas. So he went into retreat. And then when he went into retreat, something happened. I think it was like someone tried to rob him and broke into like his retreat space. And there was nothing really for them to steal. But then like people heard about this robbery. And then later people heard that this robber, died mysteriously. And then, word got around. Oh, this young man's Dharma protectors are very fierce. See, somebody tried to rob him, and they died mysteriously. And then Gilbert Rinpoche again, like, oh no, this is bad. He runs again, and go into even more secluded so that nobody could reach him, because he was like, yeah, I may have these Dharma protectors who are like overprotective. We're not talking about enlightened Dharma protectors, but these are kind of benevolent forces for you. But they might be overactive in protecting you, and this is bad, So he was like, no, I need to leave now. He ran away even further. So these kinds of effects might arise, but especially when they arise, right? Especially when they arise to seem to, to favor you. That's when especially it becomes a real crucial point of how you relate to how it's working out for you. In fact, when it's not working out for you, on the surface, you feel like there's a lot of suffering. Right? Makes sense. When it's not working out for you, you immediately feel the suffering. And at least in that case, you could say, oh, I don't want this. But when it's working out for you, and then you think, yeah, I'm right. That is the cause of long-term suffering. It's not that we are saying, things working out for you is bad. We're saying when things are working out for you, be extra careful now. Extra vigilance.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
A lot of the language is like destroying activity.
Yes.
Akshobhya is like pacifying, but in the text it's all like your master of all the activities.
Yes.
Is there a particular?
Well, her. So the question is like, there's a lot of language of destroying in Simhamukha. Then the lord of Simhamukha's family is Akshobhya. Then Akshobhya sometimes is associated with pacifying activity. Then there's also the mention of, the mistress of the activities, right? So basically, there's different levels going on, or different layers going on. Her general vibe is destroying and wrathful. She's part of the Akshobhya family, as in it has to do with the transformation. So there the emphasis is not so much pacifying. There the emphasis of that she's part of Akshobhya family, the emphasis is she has mastered and cleared / purified aggression, anger. So that anger has been turned into something else, turned into the mirror-like wisdom, and mirror-like strikes, right? The mirror strikes back immediately, but without mistake, without distortion. Not the distorted mirror, right? That makes you look thinner or fatter, whatever, Not that, right? The clear, unmanipulated mirror. So that mirror-like wisdom. The mirror-like wisdom can only be mirror-like wisdom when aggression is overcome. So in the Vajrakilaya Tantra, Doje Trope Shidang Ju, what an important line in the Vajrakilaya Tantra, Doje Trope Shidang Ju, cut. So what is Doje Trope? Vajra wrath. What is Vajra wrath? Doje Trope Shedang Chu. Shedang, aggression, anger. Chu, cut. When you cut aggression, when you chop off aggression, that is what Vajra wrath is. So she is an embodiment of this Vajra wrath. But the wrath is not, again, people who practice wrathful deities, and they say, I'm practicing wrathful deity, I think you're just practicing being pissed off all the time and giving it a veneer of deity, Just rub some icing on it, and call it Vajra wrath, But Doje Trope Shedang Chu, cut Shedang, cut aggression, cut anger, liberate that anger. So liberate the anger. Then the energy that was fueling the anger can be recognized as and functioning as mirror-like wisdom.
Does Lion Face Dakini have a concert? Like Umbrella has Amitayus?
Not explicitly. The question of, not that I know, Lion Face Dakini, does she have a consort, a male counterpart to her? Not again in the Barilotsa, but probably in some Simhamukha termas. I'm sure they have found a partner for her.
Is the Trishula that she's...
Yeah, that's like the secret consort. So it's a secret to us. We don't know who, quote unquote, he is.
Has Simhamukha ever embodied in a physical body on Earth?
She turns up to people. I don't know how physical that is. The question of, has Simhamukha gained a physical body on Earth? Not in the way that, Siddhartha had a history to. Yeah, as far as we know. But
she is Nirmakaya.
Yes, she's said to be Nirmanakaya. But all I'm saying is, there isn't an historical person necessarily,
Dr. Life, what does the movement represent? She's dancing?
She's dancing, yeah. Activity, active. Vajravarahi, Vajrayogini. Yeah. Then in the Dharma tradition, there is her retinue. In the Barilotsawa, mostly it just says, she has a retinue of these goddesses with animal heads. But in the Dharma tradition, more information is often given. And so there's you might see some tankas. Yesterday somebody asked, and also a few days ago in our Dugong Dharmakirti group, I think Jasper shared, and there's a boar face and a bear face. So there's all these animal face headed sisters of hers. Yeah. It's a whole circus. Yeah.
Say we have a situation and we want the assistance of Simhamukha. I don't know if I heard this right, but do we visualize ourselves?
Ourselves.
Form?
Ourselves, yes.
So I see myself
as Simhamukha.
As Simhamukha, the body of Simhamukha.
Yes.
With the 5 skulls.
Yes, everything. Yes.
Not looking at the print on the wall.
Yes, correct.
Interesting.
Yeah, the print on the wall is a prompt, a visual prompt.
Okay.
For us to embody and become this deity. So, as in, you have to solve the situation.
I don't have to be in, do I have to see myself in that pose she's doing?
Well, sometimes.
With the leg up?
Yeah,
You gotta get it right? Or
yeah, you gotta fancy, Oh, yeah, yeah.
You gotta get it right?
Yeah, you start there. Yes.
Is it helpful to put Simhamukha on other people all around, that type of thing? Because,
yeah, all beings have the form of Simhamukha, including those pesky people that you got entangled with, they are Simhamukha too.
Dr.
Yeah.
Lai.
If you find yourself after doing a wrathful deity
Uh-huh.
practice, seeing something happening to a person or a situation,
Yeah.
and you find yourself feeling prideful about it,
Yes.
how should you?
Yeah. So that's when you say no, don't. You know.
Is there something else you can do?
Yeah, so when you see you're practicing this deity, then seemingly whoever you are entangled with, that you consider to be a problem, trouble, things start to happen to them, and then you feel, haha, what can you do about that? Nothing except stop. There's no special method there, like, stop as in, stop with understanding, not necessarily stop with fear, but stop with like, I don't intend this for them. I just want the situation to clear. So may they be free from suffering. All the preliminaries of bodhicitta, four immeasurable minds, radiate loving kindness to them.
Are other people your mirrors? Like, I'm pointing the finger, you're aggressive, you're hostile, but it's actually my repressed shadow that's hostile being reflected back at me.
Yeah.
So the problem is all me, and they're just a reflection. What do you say about that?
Yeah. I mean, there's an interdependence going on for sure, but without speculating too much, I think the Buddha says, start solving it with sorting yourself out. Sort yourself out, and if the karma and the conditions are there, then the other person might get sorted out. But what you can do is to sort yourself out.
Yeah, but if I'm repressing my hostility because I don't...
Yeah, so sort yourself out.
Pardon me?
Sort yourself out.
How do you do that?
Huh?
How?
Well, that's why we have business here.
That's why what?
We have business here at Urban Dharma, and all the Dharma centers. So here we are.
I wish there was a more specific recipe. That feels vague to me.
These keep coming back.
Oh, Islam is very specific. If that works for you, it's very specific. And it's all the obligations and all the, duties are very clearly set out. And some people have to take that path to evolve. The Dharma is also very clear. But it's so clear that maybe we're like, but I don't like that. Yesterday I was having a chat with someone who said, like, it's basically like, I don't know, I like the Vajrayana stuff, like all those vow stuff, it's not my thing. So we had a discussion about, that, and I said, according to Kyopa Jigten Sumgun, the founder of our lineage, basically, I mean, he didn't use these exact words, but basically he said, basically his position is that when the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths, the very first teaching he gave, when the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths at Deer Park to the 5 monks, everything that we need to know is explicitly, implicitly all there in that first teaching. Then for the rest of the people who didn't get it and don't get it, then he taught for another 45 years, where he gave the 84,000 dharmas, where he gave Simhamukha, and he gave this, and he gave that. He gave Mahamudra, Dzogchen, Zen, whatever, yada, 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 because Four Noble Truths is not enough. So if we really comprehend the Four Noble Truths and practice the Four Noble Truths. That's it. Very specific, But do you have something else? That don't work for me. Like renunciation, but I don't want to renounce now. I like my stuff. So Buddha goes, okay, I can't give up on anyone. So let's see. So here, do this, right? So then that becomes some method, right? And someone else comes and like, but I don't want to stop getting angry with la la la. So does that mean I'm hopeless? No. Okay, now try this. So then the 84,000 dharmas, came, Okay, now page 5 of the Simhamukha. In your heart center is a dark blue home on the sun, encircled by the 14 syllables rotating to the right, shining and radiating lights, gathering all the power and blessings of all assemblies of Sugatas and Gurus, Idams and Dharmapalas. The lights are then reabsorbed into the seed syllable in your heart. Imagine that the exalted activities of annihilating all enemies, hindrances, agents of privation are achieved. Akasamharaja Shadarasamharaya Pe Akasamharaja Shadarasamharaya Akasamharaja Shadarasamharaya Pe 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 Shadarasamharaya Pe Akasamharaja 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 Shadarasamharaya Pe. Page 6. Host of ladies ablaze with wrath, reduced to dust, enemies and hindrances, and lead their consciousnesses to the Dharma to accomplish the 4 types of exalted activities. So now we do the feast offering. Karina, please. Light a small piece. Take a small incense. Yep. Try to keep the flame and then do the ram. Ram yam kam, ram yam kam, ram yam kam. Om Amrita Kundalini Hana Hana Hong Te Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddhoham. In the state of emptiness, wind arises from Yam, fire from Ram above on a tripod. 3 hairs arising from calm syllables is a Kapala, arisen from an eye, white on the outside, red inside, large and spacious, with a forehead facing you. Inside the Kapala, in the center is human flesh, cow flesh in the east, horse flesh in the south, dog flesh in the west, and elephant flesh
in the north.
in the center, on top is urine. In the southeast is feces. Rakta in the southwest. Bodhicitta in the northwest. And Gorojana in the northeast. These substances are marked with Om, Hong, Trong, Hri, A, Mam, Lam, Vam, Pam, Tam, respectively. The lid is a moon ornamented with the Ali Kali. Wind stirs from a Yam, fire blazes, causing the substances to melt and boil, purifying them. Teminus, the moon, together with the vowels and consonants, melt into light, turning the contents into an ocean of elixir. Om Ahong Ha Ho Re. Om Ahong Ha Ho Re. Om Ahong Ha Ho Re. Bring maybe use one of those silver things. Is there any more? So here, what you need to do is to collect the best of these offerings. That's the first portion. Collect the best of these offerings. So that's the offering of the first portion. Then normally put on the shrine. Okay, chop chop. What are you looking for? Put down the other thing. What is the other thing doing there? The remainder of weight remain. Now let's assemble the. Put on the. What are you holding in your hand? drink. Yeah, on the left. From palace of Vakanishta, the sphere of reality, please come here. O rude and lineage gurus from the palace of the natural expanse, please come here. O lion face and you, Dakinis, Viras and others, from the pristine realms of the 10 directions, please come here. O oceans of oath-bound ones, remain here to partake of this Gana Chakra offering, grandly common and sublime siddhis, Guru Deva, Dakini, Simhamukha, Saparivara, Gana Chakra, Puja Kahi. Oh, confuse and delude the thoughts of self and other unclear creation stage, impure, dull samadhi and impaired tormas, whatever faults that have arisen, please bear with me.
With these
Feast offerings, fulfillment and confession,
please
so the pure accomplishments. Om Bhadra Sakosamaya Manupalaya Sakrapasaya Siddha Didam Membhava Sukhita Sarva Siddham Membhava Sarva So that second one is to make amends for lapses in the vows, in the commitments. So the first one is to make offerings. The second is the offerings. And the first one you could say is the offerings that are made in admiration of the qualities of the three jewels, of the three roots, and requesting the accomplishments. Say, may I become, like you. Then the second one is the offerings are offered as like apology, amending. Then this third one is the offering to liberate and cut all obstacles. This is the third one. Joe, can you bring samosa? That cuts. I just put one. So our dough effigy today is a samosa. So all the obstacles, obstructors, all of that, enemies and hindrances. So the situation, as it will say, drag the situation, whatever messy situation that you are in, drag the situation and bind it into this samosa, this samosa torma. Then we will cut. Om, I am Simhamukha, the heart essence of wrath radiates and reabsorbs activity. Matrikas emanate like stars holding nooses, shackles, and bells by brandishing the bell and so forth. They draw in, make, enter, bind, and intoxicate the enemies and hindrances, making them fall like wooden puppets. They send a rain of ritual weapons laced with diseases and poison, and slay with the gathered vajra weapons into the mother. The consciousnesses dissolve. Akasha Maraya Shadarasa Maraya Pe harm bringers, enemies, Brahmo Shadro Maraya I don't even have any situations, but it's very therapeutic. Yeah, do try it at home. So now the torma is being offered. Take a spoonful of the rakta, drizzle onto the torma. Yeah. Take a spoonful of the medicine. Yep. Okay. Actually, Nathan, come hold the torma. You have to play the instruments. Like circum, hold it. Oh, blazing devourer, lion face, great lure, ravisher, terrifying form, surrounded by a retinue of dakinis, hook, noose, shackle, and bell, enemies and hindrances. I offer as liberated enjoyments. Chim, chim, enjoy eating. Put in a bag, don't throw up.
Enjoy drinking the blood.
True, true, enjoy chewing the bones. Kahi, kahi, karam, kahi. Daki, Simhamukha, Saparivara. Mahamangsa, Rakta, King, Niriti. Gurujana, Basuta. Bodhicitta, Lakaram, So this part, it says, enjoy the Gana chakra. So we take a little bit of the Gana chakra. I mean, normally this is all then distributed, but the way we're going to do it today is we'll just take some symbolic right now, then later we'll do the rest. So everybody take a little bit from this chopped up obstructus. Now you collect. Put a little plate of the leftover.
That's referred to as the offering, how do you call that?
The torma?
The torma,
Yeah.
but the one that was chopped.
No. That's the linka.
The one that was chopped.
Mhm. Put it in the same bag. Then later take the bag and dispose them. Hey, where are you going? Put some. No, we have to do it. Joe, bring a spoonful of the nectar. Spoonful of it. And here, actually, give me first.
Okay.
Too much. Okay, now give a spoonful. Hold. Don't pull. Hold. Omma karo mugan savadamana madhyano panatwata. Omma hom pe swaha. Omma karo mugam savadamana madhyano panatwata. Omma hom pe swaha. Omma karo mugan savadamana madhyano panatwata. Omma hom pe swaha. Just a little bit, everyone. Take the whole. Actually, Karina, you do this. He has to play the instrument. Just the cup. Just the cup. Just a little bit, not a whole spoonful. It's gonna flood. Give to Joe. Oh, although born from the mantras, the fields and so forth, yet you are nothing but transcendent. You assembly of matrikas appearing in worldly forms, enjoy these words that are handed down, pacify the obstacles of yogis and accomplish wishes that accord with the Dharma. Dhakini Uchista Baling Don't walk out at the wrong time. So now, since the sadhana don't have an explicit dissolution completion stage, so then now we just take a few moments to let that visualization of ourselves as Simhamukha and all beings as Simhamukha. And all beings as Simhamukha, they dissolve into light. That light is absorbed into yourself as Simhamukha. Then yourself as Simhamukha dissolve from top down, from bottom up, till the heart center. In the heart center is the 14 syllable mantras with the dark blue hum. The 14 syllable mantras, they dissolve into the hum, then the hum dissolve, and then the hum dissolve completely. Then just let the mind rest for a moment or two in that state. Now dedication, page 22. Great Vajradharati Lipa Naropa Marpa Milareba Dharma Lord Gampopa Amudrupa Conqueror Dirgumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessings of all you. Bruised by this merit, may I achieve the all-knowing state. May all who wander on the waves of birth sickness and death, cross the ocean of samsara by defeating enemies of faults and delusions.
By the
Virtues collected in the 3 times in samsara and in nirvana, and by the innate root and the primordially co-emergent mandala, may I realize the exalted intention object and Gompo, the indivisibility of the 2 truths in the exalted form of Vajradhara. In all lifetimes may I never be separated from the perfect Gurus, but enjoy the richness of the glorious Dharma. Having thoroughly perfected the exalted qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. 80,000 classes of obstructors pacified, thus freeing this place from unfavorable and harmful conditions. Harmonious and excellent endowments be established, and with this auspiciousness bring about bliss and happiness. May there be well-being in the world and good harvest, much yield of grain and flourish of dharmas.
May auspiciousness be established
In all places, and all that is wished for fulfilled.
May the
Collection of favorable conditions,
and resources for the
dharma for ourselves and others be fulfilled according to our wishes.
May the
Multitudes of diseases, evil spirits, obstructors, hindrances, and others be appeased and pacified.
Bodhicitta,
The excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it not rise.
where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase
Higher and higher. I pray for the excellent health of the Gurus. The Guru's supreme life belong. May the Guru's activity spread far and wide. And may I be blessed
not to be separated from the
Guru.
just as
The road went to Sri knows everything as it is.
and Samantabhadra, who is thus as well. So too will I follow in their path and perfectly dedicate all
The virtues accumulated through this dedication, praise as supreme by the conquerors of the 3 times. Dedicate all of these roots of virtue to accomplishing the noble deeds. Blessings of the Buddhas who have attained the 3 kayas, by the blessings of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessings of the indivisible Sangha order. May these dedication and aspirations, prayers be accomplished
by the truth
of the 3 jewels and the blessings of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and by the great might of the complete perfection of the 2 accumulations, and by the strength of the completely pure, inconceivable Dharma Dhatu. May this be attained accordingly by the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana. May I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed,
perfect, complete,
precious Bodhi by the blessings of the truth of the Kagyu Gurus, the excellent 3 Idams, Daginis, and Dharma Balas. May the spiritual and temporal places of the tradition of the second Nagarjuna flourish. Whatever harmful discord and faults may arise, may they be pacified, and may there be abundant prosperity and happiness. May the teachings of the great Drikung Parana Shri, the all-knowing Dharma Lord, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. By the power of the virtues collected in accordance with the teachings of the pure realizations of the unmistaken teacher, may the teachings of Ranashri of Drikung, the protector on the 10th Bhumi, flourish perpetually. Okay, we are finished with this program. I've asked them to share on the Zoom chat the next set of programs that are happening here, that is Vajrayana in nature. So there is, in the month of April, on Saturdays, 11 to 1, there's the practice of Amitayus. We will make this available on Zoom as well. Then on the very last Saturday of April, there will be a longevity empowerment of Amitayus. For that one, you have to register. For the Saturday practice sessions, you don't have to register. The Zoom information is already in the poster, the flyer. So if you are inclined to, you can join this Amitayus practice. Then particularly for those of you who have the desire, the goal, the plan to practice the profound path of the accomplishing the Guru, Ladrup Devedorje practice, it's good to begin first as a foundation, as a preliminary, to cultivate vitality through the practice of Amitayus. So for that program, we will begin first with so this is for that purpose, but you can also practice Amitayus without thinking about wanting to embark on this longer program called the Profound Path of Accomplishing the Guru. The Profound Path of Accomplishing the Guru, in the past, historically, was a very restricted practice within the Drigungkagyu lineage, and it's only available within the Drigungkagyu lineage because the outer, inner, secret, and suchness Guru is specific to Drigungkagyu. There's no reason to go find a new practice if you already have a practice that you're happy and you're satisfied with. But even this, there's no, at least I don't see it, but maybe you do. There's no reason to start this cycle if you don't feel a particular strong connection to Gyalpa Jigten Sungön, the founder of this lineage. Because the suchness Guru is Gyalpa Jigten Sungön. The outer Guru is Shakyamuni. The inner Guru is Vajradhara. The secret Guru is the deity called Blissful Vajra, which is essentially a red form of Jakasamvara. Then the suchness Guru is Gyalpa Jigten Sungön. And so it's a complete system, just like the fivefold Mahamudra is a complete system. So this has its own preliminaries, which begins with Amitayus, the general Amitayus, then the uncommon Amitayus, which is a standing Amitayus, then the preliminaries, then the 4 levels of Guru, and then it has its own completion stage, which is Shamatha Vipassana training. If one were to do this in the context of a continuous retreat, it takes 1 year and 7 months to complete. But I don't know if anyone's going to do that. So we will just kind of chug along and have a taste of this whole program over the next couple of years or so, in whatever capacity we're able to. So if you're interested in that particular program, then especially for that reason, the Amitayus practice is something that you should make a commitment to start as a basis. Reason being that it's said that, when you want to disrupt samsara, samsara reinforces as a response. And that reinforcement may come in the form of causing problems for you, to kind of deter you. Then in particular, the biggest problem that might arise is the loss of this life and the loss of vitality. If you don't have vitality, even if you have a human body, nothing you can do. So you shore up vitality before you launch an attack, a serious attack on the city of samsara. So Amitayus is the gathering in of these lost vitality. So that's in the month of April. The second parallel program in April, if what I just said is all like, what? What are you talking about? Forget about all of that. The second parallel, which is also, leads to the same place, is the 4 foundations of mindfulness of breath, using breath as a reference point to cultivate understanding and awareness of the 4 foundations, 4 reference points: body, sensations, thoughts, and phenomena. And so that's happening on Thursday nights, 7:30 to 9, 4 Thursdays in April. That you should register. There should be information on how to register for that. It's available at the temple and also on Zoom. So that's the other program that is going on for 4 weeks in April. So spring is here. April is a busy time here at Urban Dharma as well. So anyway, thank you all of you. I think there is maybe 100 of you out there on Zoom from different places. Then here, we have a good group of people here, and all the people here. It takes all of you, to maintain the temple, to set up, to take down, and all of that, and that's part of being with a community. And so thank you for coming, and then if you can help us, if you're here to put things away, then after that we will take all this talk over to the long table there, and then have some fellowship. As well as when you're taking this, don't lose, your awareness that you are Simhamukha. And these, what you're taking in should be taken in as, the solids should be taken in as the sustenance for increasing compassion and skillful means. The liquids should be taken as substances for the increase in wisdom and clear seeing. And so you should not relate to this as just ordinary food or snacks. It's very similar, to Catholic Eucharist, the body and the blood of Christ. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar concepts here, that you're taking in not just these ordinary things. You're taking in the very substance that will transform you, just like the body and the blood of Christ transforms you to become part of, to be Christ-like. Here, this is Simhamukha's blessing, so that you become Simhamukha. So, in honor of Easter Sunday, you can also think, the body and the blood of Christ. Just don't tell Catholics. That's what you're doing. Not out of disrespect, but our understanding is, of course, to be Christ-like, is to be Buddha-like. So why not, right? So happy Easter. And, thank you for coming. Ta-ta!
Muchas gracias.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Ta-ta.
Thank you, Han.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello. We get to eat. Ha ha.